What's up, everybody? Welcome to Deep in the Plus. I'm your host, Rob Whiteside, and tonight we're going back to the 80s, but not Back to the Future. We can't do that one. It's not on Disney Plus, but there is a very special movie that we want to talk about, and the woman who chose it, we're going to bring her on. It's Desi. How are you, Desi?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm very well. So, you popped out of nowhere one night and you were like, I got to do this movie. I'm very excited about it. And you're like, this movie means everything to me. And it was Adventures in Babysitting. So this was a movie that meant a lot to you growing up. Is that right?
Well, we had lists of movies that were on Disney Plus that made us feel nostalgic. And this was definitely on that list for me. I was probably, a baby or a toddler when it came out, but it had a really long shelf life in Blockbuster Video, and my friends and I used to love renting it and watching it.
Wow, that's crazy, that long ago, because this movie came out in 2016. So Adventures in Babysitting is a decom about Jenny, who is a What?
No,
Did I
absolutely
compare the wrong
not.
movie? Are you kidding me? Will told me in chat this was the movie you wanted to talk. This wasn't the one you wanted to talk about?
No way.
Oh no! Oh no! I think you mean this one. This is the Adventures in Babysitting
Yes.
that you're looking for. Okay.
Yes.
So
look at that branding.
I know, right?
Come on.
It's fantastic. So, obviously just messing with you, because when we went to talk about this movie, you were like, now, the OG. You kept saying that. The OG. That's the one.
The OG, yeah.
So
I want the original gangster, not this new kid on the block one.
Well, we could talk about, there are so few similarities between these two movies, because, I mean, it's weird. How much they changed from one to the next and kept the namesake. So the original one is the one we're going to talk about tonight. Again, apologies to Will, because I think Will was all about that one. But in this one, it happened in 1987. Starred Elizabeth Shue as a babysitter who gets called on at the last minute. She's supposed to be having a date with her boyfriend Mike. She gets called on at the last second because he backs out on the date, and she can be, she's available now to babysit. So she goes to babysit, and that's when the insanity begins to happen. So, again, this movie was a big deal for you. You know what? We're gonna have to see where we fall at the very end of this, because in rewatching it, there were some things that I noticed that were maybe
it doesn't age well.
Yeah, maybe that's what I meant. I like Elizabeth Shue. Let me just put that out there first. And it's funny to me to watch this movie and then think of her in Leaving Las Vegas, and then think of her in the TV
The Boys.
show The Boys. Yeah,
Yes.
It's so different, because she's this young babysitter named Chris, and she is going to babysit, and she's the straight and narrow, and she's I don't know. She's all buttoned up, as opposed to these other characters that she's played later, which means that Elizabeth Shue has range. But I really loved seeing her in this movie as Chris back in the day. I thought she was really great.
So a lot of people think of Molly Ringwald as the 80s teen queen, but I think that Elizabeth Shue, could throw her hat in the ring, because she is the Karate Kid's girlfriend. She's Marty McFly's girlfriend, speaking of Back to the Future. And she is also the lead role in this movie, which is also a classic.
So, funny you should mention Molly Ringwald, because one of the things that I pulled up when I was deep diving this movie is that Paramount was originally interested in doing this movie, but only if Molly Ringwald played the babysitter.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the producers thought it should be Elizabeth Shue, and they went with Walt Disney Touchstone. So this was a Touchstone movie, because So back in the day, Disney had a couple other brands. They had Hollywood Pictures and they had Touchstone. And Touchstone was the one that they would do if it was like a little like PG-13. It was a little bit more blue, as they would say, than a regular Disney movie. So they wouldn't put the Disney name on it. There's a little language.
She does drop the F-bomb, yeah.
Not in the Disney Plus
but
version.
Not in this version.
Yeah. That was also a little bit weird, but we'll get back to that. So this was also Christopher Columbus's directorial debut. He was a big 80s director and, of course, some Harry Potter fame, but this was his first movie that he got to direct. And so it kind of has a lot of elements to it. It's not a huge blockbuster movie. It doesn't have a ton of stars in it, but it is interesting.
It does actually kind of have a ton of stars in it.
A ton?
I mean, people who became bigger stars later on, maybe. How about that?
Yeah. We'll talk about the cast in a second. When this movie starts out, she's jumping around her room and she's dancing and she's singing the song "And Then He Kissed Me" and she's jumping around the room and playing it out and putting the curtains over her head like a veil. Tell me you did that as a kid.
Absolutely. Are you kidding? Of course I did. I think every little girl did. It's actually kind of a trope, it's not just in this movie. What's the musical with like the Elvis wannabe? Oh my goodness. Bye Bye Birdie. They do it in that movie. In like the Lizzie McGuire movie, she does something similar. So, I mean, every teenage girl has danced around her room like a fool like that to some song.
Okay.
Maybe not that one, but I mean, for me, it was probably Livin' La Vida Loca.
Sure. I mean, me too. So we've got Chris, and she is she's pining over her boyfriend Mike, played by Bradley Whitford. That to me is funny in itself because Bradley Whitford is playing the jerk in this, and just I don't know. He plays a jerk a lot. He was actually playing a jerk in something you and I reviewed recently, which is the animated What If about Captain Carter, also playing a jerk. But, he was a good guy on West Wing and, several other things along the way. But I think this was one of his early things, and he definitely plays this part well.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I don't think that I realized it was him until I watched it again recently as an adult. And, not just him, but some of the other people throughout the movie, I was like, oh, this guy is in it? Oh, that's who plays Thor? That I didn't necessarily realize growing up who that was.
Yeah. So in her room, she's trying on clothes because she's getting ready for a big date with Mike. And then she's got these shoulder pads, and that's, again, clearly a
fantastic.
Yeah, right. But when he comes to the door and says, "Oh, my kid sister's sick, I got to stay home with her," and he has to break it off. The date is what he's breaking off, and tells her that he'll catch up with her later. But she was really excited because he was going to take her to this fancy restaurant in downtown, because in the big city, they keep talking about the big city. And so
right.
Then her friend Brenda comes over and she's consoling her a little bit. Is it just me or do we hate Brenda? I feel like we hate Brenda.
I don't hate Brenda. I kind of feel sorry for Brenda. Brenda reminds me of who's the friend in Stranger Things who I feel sorry for her at the beginning of that show too. Gosh, why am I just having a total blank today with everything?
I want to say it's Kathy, but that may not be it.
It might also be Brenda. I don't know.
It could be
for some reason, I want to say it's also Brenda.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but yeah, it's definitely. But see, here's the thing though. This Brenda takes is the catalyst for the movie happening because she's
running away.
Right, she's going to run away from home because gosh knows I don't know what her problems could have been back then, but she's running away from home. Chris has gone to start babysitting, and she gets a call from Brenda that she's crying. She's at the bus stop. She's at the bus station. She's freaked out. She needs for Chris to come get her, and that's what starts them on their journey. And so for that reason, I kind of hate Brenda.
Oh, come on. I mean, you don't know what kind of horrible home life she must have had that she went to this place and having a guy yell at her that she's in his home, which is a phone booth, or, you know, a guy threatening her with a gun is apparently more appealing than being at home. So she must have a terrible home life. You have to feel sorry for her.
I mean, if you say so. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm feeling that, but okay. So so they take you to the house where she's going to babysit, and when she's there, she's meeting up with the kids, and the boy, the older one, Brad, has this huge crush on her, and it's just super awkward the entire time.
Yes.
And then the little girl, Sarah, is she's a huge fan of Thor. And so I think you're a huge fan of Thor. So here she is, like, wearing her little Thor helmet, and, you know, she's got Thor all over her. And again, check out the mom's shoulder pads. Big necessity back in the 80s. But she's huge into Thor, and she is that's the thing she carries with her the whole time. Fun story, fun fact, another thing that I dug up was apparently originally they wanted to go with He-Man and She-Ra as the one that she was obsessed with. But I think it was Christopher Columbus said that he wanted it to be Thor, which is very cool because this is like decades before Disney bought Marvel.
Yes.
And so now it's like I mean, somebody asked, I think jokingly, if this was canon in the Marvel universe. Now it kind of officially is because now they're all in the same family.
I have to say that when the Marvel movies started coming out, and I heard that there was a Thor movie coming out, the first thing I thought of was Adventures in Babysitting. Was, who is this guy going to be, and is he going to live up to my idea of Thor in my head from Adventures in Babysitting? Because that's just, when I pictured Thor, that is who I pictured.
Yeah. Okay. So this outfit, I mean, that Chris is wearing in here with the long sweater, is this also something that that was in your wardrobe when you were? I mean, is that a common thing?
Probably. The 80s were a long time ago, so I can't remember exactly what was in my wardrobe, but I'm sure that I had something like that. I can tell you that I did, in fact, have a trench coat from my grandmother after she passed away that I wore all the time. So that I identified with.
So like this?
Yes.
Again, you just like, you know, modeled your whole life after Chris. That's fantastic.
Apparently.
So she gets her coat on, and Brenda's called and says, I'm running away, but I don't want to run away anymore, so come get me at the bus station in the city. And so she's like, great, I got to go, but I can't leave the kids here. And so she takes the kids with her, and then she gets bullied into taking Brad's friend Daryl as well. Again, do we hate Daryl? I feel like we hate Daryl.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes. I don't hate Brenda, but I do hate Daryl.
Well, Daryl is, what's the word I'm looking for? The worst?
Yes.
So Daryl is like looking at her going, you know what, you're going to have to take me. And she's like, no. And he's like, oh, well, I'll go tell my mom that, you know, I want you to babysit me because you take kids into the city without their permission, and they'll tell the Andersons. And she's like, okay, you can come with me. So, yeah, so right from the get-go, we hate Daryl. He's the worst. But the funny thing is the guy who plays Daryl is now on Star Trek Discovery. If you have Paramount Plus.
He?
Yeah, he's on Star Trek Discovery. I would have thought like this kid was never heard from again, but apparently he's had a huge career. Yeah, that's the thing. Anthony Rapp is his name. So, yeah. But now they've got three of them. They get in the car, they go into the city, and they have a flat tire. And so then they pull over the side of the road. They're stuck. She goes to get her purse, but her purse isn't there because she left it home. By the way, in Adventures in Babysitting 2016, Jenny also leaves her purse at home.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of about 4 things that those two movies have in common. But which again furthers the story, right? Because now she's stuck, and she's just like, what's she gonna do? She didn't have any money. The tow truck comes by, creepy guy with a hook after she'd just been telling Sarah.
After she just told that story about a guy with a hook. Yeah.
Creepy guy comes by and says, "Hey, you know, Mr. Pruitt." He's like, "I'm gonna help you out. I'll even buy the tire for you." And she's like, "Oh, that's really nice of you." And they get in and they go. And on the way there, of course, because this is like how these movies work, wackiness ensues. And he gets a call from Dawson, from Dawson's garage, who is apparently his boss. And Dawson says, "Hey, there's that car outside of your place again. I think your wife's cheating on you." And so then Pruitt like turns into anger mode and starts driving off. We think we're going to lose the car being towed.
Just as she feels bad about judging him for his appearance, she's like, "Oh, I'm a bad person. I shouldn't be judging him just because he's got a hook."
Yep.
And then he turns around and, you know, tries to murder somebody right in front of her.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. So when he gets to the house, it's dark out. He runs into the house with a gun, because there's a gun in the glove box. He takes the gun and he runs into the house and he starts shooting. And the guy who his wife's cheating on him with like gets flown out of the window, and then they are fighting. And so he's making a run for his car. The kids are by the car. They jump into the car only to find out that it's being stolen at that moment. Again, crazy night. Wow. How does this happen? It's nuts. Because every time you think they're going to get out of it, every time you think they're going to get out of it, they fall back into it. So that happens, and they get taken to a chop shop with there's some seedy fellas in the chop shop. That's not good. Why would he have brought them into the chop shop?
Because that was his job, obviously, and to further the story along and make it even crazier. Come on.
Would that pass the 2021 tests these days? I don't know.
A lot of this movie doesn't pass the 2021 test.
Yeah, so they go in there, and there's the evil guy, but then there's like the super evil guy, and I'm trying to find a picture of the super evil guy. Oh my gosh, this dude. You never want to run into this dude anywhere. I mean, the expression on his face, like just the way they did this close-up of him, you know he's the head bad guy in charge. Not a nice
I want to know why all of these guys in a chop shop are wearing, like, business suits.
Because they're businessmen, Desi. They're doing business. I don't know.
They're dressed up like they're legit businessmen, but working at a chop shop.
We don't know in the 80s what it took to close a deal for stolen cars. We don't know. We can just assume that this is how you did business.
And it sounds like they were doing a lot of it over the phone, so there was no need to be in a business suit.
I guess so. Hey, you know what, Desi? I'd like to stop because this is your favorite movie of all time, I've decided, and I'd like to ask you some trivia about it. Are you ready for some trivia?
Let's do it.
Some of this is easy and some of it's hard.
Uh-oh.
When they leave the house, and the reason I'm doing trivia now is because I'm afraid I'm going to let some of these facts loose, so that's why I'm doing trivia now.
Okay.
When she goes to babysit, what's the name of the family she's going to babysit for?
The Andersons.
Wow, there you go. You knew that one right off the top of your head. And again, one of very few things that the 1987 and the 2016 have in common is that the family she's babysitting for, actually it's the one that Sophia Carson is babysitting for, is the Andersons.
All right.
So there you go. Good job. There's a running joke about a Playboy magazine where the girl in the Playboy magazine looks exactly like Elizabeth Shue. Or like,
because it is her.
But because it is her, which was a fake magazine. And I thought that was interesting. So they did a photo shoot with her. She was 17 at the time, I think.
And she did it at the Playboy Mansion.
She was 24 at the time. Sorry, she's playing 17.
But she was playing 17.
Yeah.
Right.
And she said it was one of the most uncomfortable things she'd ever done. Little did she know what was going to happen to her in leaving Las Vegas. But, so they shot this and they make it like look like it's her because it basically, I mean, it is her when they're doing this. So there's a joke about this. Which month is she in this is the magazine? What month?
I'm just going to go out on a crazy limb here and say April.
No, she's Miss March, which I thought was interesting for the
Oh, so
alliteration.
close.
Yeah, so everywhere she goes, like she goes to a frat party and everywhere else, and they think she's Miss March. So the reason I bring up the Playboy is that when apparently that's a thing they did in the 80s, but they used the magazine to write down all the orders for Philadelphia, all the Philly orders. They're all in the magazine, and that magazine,
Of course they are.
yeah, if the magazine gets away, we're going to be in jail for 20 years, so we got to go get it. And so they had put the kids upstairs in the room with the magazine. The kids take off of the magazine in this little like high wire act that they do to get out of the building through the roof, just like you do. I really thought there was going to be more while they were walking across that beam where they kick the sawdust down and it falls in the guy's cup. I really thought it was going to be more of that. The first time I saw it, because it looks like that's what they're setting you up for, right? No?
I mean, yeah. You
Okay.
you might think that watching it for the first time.
Okay, so when they're leaving the house, when they're leaving the Andersons to go pick up Brenda, they're going to pick up Brenda. We know that Sarah is dressed as, like, with the Thor helmet and everything, but she's got a backpack on. Do you remember what's on the backpack?
It's not Thor?
No.
Oh. I'm going to go with She-Ra then.
You mean because of what I said about She-Ra?
Yeah. Princess of Power. Come on.
No, it's not She-Ra. I want to see if there are any further guesses here in the chat first. I don't see any. You know what? Maybe Patrick, because I saw Patrick was in the chat. Maybe he would step up and say something. But
Where is he tonight?
I don't know. Where is he?
He should be here.
He should be. I don't have a great view of it here, but I'm going to go ahead and show you if I can. You can't really see it. It's Gizmo from the Gremlins. You can see you can just barely see the ear.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
I see it.
yeah. So Gizmo from the Gremlins. Like, why? I don't know. Like, you're right. It should have been Thor. I mean, she's a huge Thor fan, but this is what's on the back there.
Maybe it's a hand-me-down from Brad.
Could be. They're going to the big city. What city are they going to?
Chicago.
Yes. They don't ever say it, I don't think.
But
They
it's
just...
actually Toronto.
Right. Exactly. But they don't actually say that they're going to Chicago, but like Brad's got a Chicago Bears poster in the bathroom when he goes to look for his acne medicine, and you know the L train and all that. So it definitely is Chicago, but I don't think they say it, which I thought
That was some blatant clear seal product placement at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it was. This is going to be a little bit tougher. When they're in the kitchen before they leave the house and Brad's making pasta or whatever he's making in the kitchen, when he finds out that Chris is coming in, he spills it all. There's a show on the TV. Do you know what the show is? I would be shocked if you knew this. This is the kind of thing that I do that drives Patrick up the wall, I think.
Dick Van Dyke.
No, it's The Price is Right with Bob Barker.
Ah.
Yeah. And do you know what cereal that Sarah's eating at that time?
Captain Crunch.
Boom! Nailed that one. All right, two more. You ready? What's on the back of Brad's jacket?
I want to say it's like Hathaway High, or it starts with an H. I'm pretty sure because there was alliteration.
Freaking amazing! Yeah, it's Hemingway High. That's
Hemingway.
Yeah. So we've gotten to the point where they go to the chop shop and we meet the evil boss and they send them upstairs and then they escape with the magazine, and now the boss not only feels like they're a loose end, but they've got the magazine. So they realize it at the last second that the kids are running loose, and they chase them and they run into a blues club, of course. In the blues club, what's the name of the blues club?
I have no idea. The Scat Cat Cafe. That sounds like a blues club kind of place.
Yes. No, it's not. It's the Silver Dollar Room.
Oh, I was trying to think of what it was from Soul, and I was going to guess that, but then I was having a blank.
The only way out is to sing the blues, you know.
That's what I hear.
Can I just tell you that at this point, this was the most painful part of the movie for me. I almost had to turn it off.
Oh, yeah. awkward.
When she's standing on stage and it's silent and everybody's staring at them, and he's like, you can't leave until you sing the blues. She's like, I can't sing. And then, there's so much silence. There's so much staring. And then the song starts and it gets worse because it's like
so cringy.
So bad. I mean, Elizabeth Shue, bless your heart, but it was so bad. Like, I can't with that. Like, if you can bypass that song, please do. I mean, it's just rough. I don't know if there's anybody who is a huge fan or not, but yeah, it's not good. So they go into the blues club and they sing the Babysitter
Do they have that
blues.
part? Do they have that part in the 2016 version?
They do have a singing part, but Sabrina Carpenter is gifted, so don't ever say anything bad about it.
Okay.
Did you not see the 2016 version?
No.
As much
why would I?
As much hate as you put through that one versus this one, and you've never watched it?
No, I don't like sequels. I don't like redos.
Man, I don't know.
Walt said you can't top dwarves with dwarves, and you can't top pigs with pigs.
Well, but see, here's what they did in this one: is there were two babysitters.
Oh.
So, double.
And was Sarah in love with like Captain America instead of Thor?
None of the names are the same.
Oh.
And there are 5 kids.
What?
Yeah. So you
can't do character development with that many kids.
And it's a shorter movie by 15 minutes too. But in that movie, the DCOM movie, Adventures in Babysitting, which by the way was the 100th DCOM. So it was a big deal, and it was Sabrina Carpenter, and it was Sophia Carson, and in it, Sophia Carson plays this like bad girl, and Sabrina Carpenter is the good girl, and they both end up having babysitting jobs, one with 2 kids, one with 3, and then Sabrina Carpenter finds out that Sophia Carson like wedged her way into it. She goes over, gets her. They've got to go chase down one of the kids, so they all have to get into the mom's nice SUV. So there are some things, some similarities, and there was also the continuation of trouble throughout the thing. But the only other thing that was the same in what I was looking at was that when they tow the mom's car, which they tow it because it was in a no parking zone, not because it was flat tire. It was in a no parking zone. They tow it. The tow truck is from Dawson's garage.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Well, at least they kept that. Not even one vote, by the way, when we posted on social media, what is the best DCOM movie? 0 votes for Adventures in Babysitting.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's too modern. Let's wait 10 years and see what like those people in 10 years think of Adventures in Babysitting 2016. I mean, it's only 5 years old. It can't be a classic, right?
All right. Well, okay. I'm just saying Brink and Xenon are still top 2.
I mean, look at this cast. This is the 2016 crew. So you got the 5 kids, and you got Sabrina, and you got Sophia. Come on, top of their game at the time, top of their game. Anyway,
is she wearing an Iron Man thing? So I was joking when I said, was she into Captain America instead of Thor?
She's into roller derby. Look, don't hate on it till you watch it. That's your homework assignment. You need to go back and watch that one.
All right.
Back to the babysitter at hand, though. So there's your trivia. So they go now to, by the way, Daryl's line, like his famous line that he kept saying over and over again, got on my nerves. Do you remember what he kept saying?
Right now, I can't even think of what he kept saying.
You think?
What is it?
You think?
Oh.
He would keep saying that. Do you not remember that?
Apparently not.
Nobody gets out of here.
It wasn't memorable enough for me.
Yeah. So while they're singing the blues, by the way, before they get out of the club, they do a little. She does a little roll call of everybody in the group, like Sarah and Brad and Daryl. And it's just, it's bad. It's not good. So then they get out of here, and they escape the club, and they start walking down, and they're headed toward the city skyline where their Brad and Sarah's dad is at the party there. And so they're going to head there and maybe, she says, turn themselves in. And this is where Brad tells her that her boyfriend, Mike, is a bad dude. By the way, he drove, I think, a red Camaro with a license plate. So cool.
So cool.
Apparently, that was actually Bradley Whitford's car and officially his license plate.
No.
Yes. Fun fact.
Wow. Fun fact, he and Elizabeth Shue really did date after this.
Also, fun fact, Brad actually asked Elizabeth Shue out off camera as well as on, and both times was shot down.
Oh,
so many fun facts. So they start walking down the street and they run into a prostitute. I guess big city.
How do you know? She could just be somebody who enjoys dressing like that.
Because I feel like they mentioned that. But so during this time is when I noticed how the language has been edited, and it's just weird. Like they actually run from this point away because the bad guys catch up to them again, and they run away from them. They get on the L train and just in time, and they sneak away. And while they're on the L train, then two gangs come from either side, and I swear I thought they were going to have a dance-off. Like, I thought it was just like Michael Jackson's Beat It
video. The Jets and the Sharks?
Yeah. But Michael Jackson's Beat It video. I thought that's what was happening there. I didn't see Michael Peters, but I think that's what was about to happen. And they were gonna fight on here, and she gets in the middle, and they call her the worst name you can call a woman. They call her a witch.
Terrible.
But I mean, it's
she says, "Don't fool with me." Yes.
Don't fool with the babysitter. That's what they always say. Don't fool with the babysitter. He drops one of the guys drops a knife, and it falls into Brad's shoe, and then she pulls out the knife, pulls it on them. They get off the train, head to the hospital, where the weirdest little moment happens, where they think, first of all, they don't check in at all, and they get helped. That's weird, right?
That would never happen today.
Yeah.
No.
So then, because he had gotten a knife in the toe, he got one stitch. But there was somebody else they were also helping that was there with a knife wound that died. And so they they're looking for Brad. And the guy randomly says, "Oh, I'm sorry, your friend with a knife wound, he's dead." And so then she falls to the ground. No one's broken up at this point. They're just like not sure what's happening. And then Brad almost immediately pops up and is like, "What's going on here?" There's no time for that to develop. It happens like this, and it felt really awkward, no?
Oh, I mean, I thought it was a funny, cute moment. Come on. And then it was heartwarming when his sister's like, "Brad," and then goes and gives him a big hug. Because, usually siblings at that age are always butting heads, so it's nice to see that they actually love each other.
Yeah, okay, sure. At this point, they find out that the guy whose car they were in when it was stolen, the guy that was messing around with Pruitt's wife, was in the hospital. But then all of a sudden, Pruitt pops out and knocks him down like a bobcat. Boom. And then he gets them out of there, and they run out of the hospital. And he's like, "I'm a wanted man, but your car is ready. It's back at the garage." In the fight that they were having, he blew a hole into their windshield with his gun. So he's like, "I took care of the windshield. That was on me, but you're going to have to take care of the tire. It's $50." So they're like,
which even in today's money, is that really how much tires cost?
When was the last time you bought tires?
I don't know. My husband takes care of that stuff.
Four tires for an SUV will run you $800 easy.
No, really?
Yeah. And this was worse because the way it came off on the highway, I mean it was in bad shape. They would have had to do a front end alignment. It would have been a whole thing. Okay, well, shows what I know. So for $50 they get a new tire that's actually with parts and labor and everything and balancing and all the other stuff they throw on tires. That's actually probably not a bad deal. So they get the tire, plus big city prices, Desi, big city prices. You got to think about that. Yes. So they go in. They got to find their way to the car place, but they also have to. It closes at midnight. Got to find their way to the car place, but they also have to get the money. And on the way, they pass a frat house. And again, Daryl, Daryl just wanders into the frat house. You know
You'd
what?
think he would want to wander into a sorority house.
I mean, I guess, but I guess he's a problem and he needs to be taken out.
But then they run into the really nice guy.
Yeah. Did you have a crush on the really nice guy?
I mean, I guess I liked him in this movie. I was always rooting for Brad, but I guess it wasn't meant to be. But I loved him in Father of the Bride.
Yes. So Dan is the character's name, and here he is, and he was the husband in Father of the Bride and Father of the Bride 2. And guess what? In production now, Father of the Bride 3, and he's in it.
Is it really? There's a Father of the Bride 3?
Yep.
Wow.
It's called Father of the Bride Part 3-ish, and it's a short. So.
Oh, okay. I'm guessing
Actually,
that
apparently
their
it came
daughter...
out. Apparently it came out already. I'm wrong on this. Apparently it came out already. My bad.
Oh, I need to find it.
Yes.
Because I loved those movies.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was like, but this guy hasn't done anything since then, but he was also in Scandal, if you watched Scandal. And he was also, Hot in Cleveland. I'm just looking down. Nip Tuck. He was in a bunch of things, but a big deal in Scandal. So Dan is the guy that they meet she meets in the frat house. Two of his brothers, I'm assuming, like frat brothers, are like thinking she's Miss March, and they come after her, and he talks them out of it. And then she tells him, "Oh, we need money," and he's like, "Oh, let me see what I can do." And he comes up with $45, not 50. $45, and then they give up, and they're like, "Okay, we've asked everybody in the party, we only have $45." And he's like, "Okay, I'll take you down there. We'll get you straightened out." And he drops her off, and she's like, "I got it from here. Don't even come in. Don't even sweat it. We'll meet again," or whatever. And so they go into the garage, and that's where we meet Thor.
Yes. Who is Vincent
D'Onofrio?
I can't. D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
Sorry. Can't talk tonight.
Super young, super jacked Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yes! That's why I think I didn't realize until I was rewatching it with my husband, and he's like, "Oh, that's Private Pyle from Full Metal Jacket?" And I was like, "No!" Because in my head, like, Thor is like the epitome of manliness and just like, so hot for back in the 80s, and I guess I watched it probably in the 90s. And then thinking of Private Pyle, who's like the chunky guy who goes crazy from Full Metal Jacket. Did not see that coming at all.
Well, he was also he did come back into the fold as the Kingpin in the TV show Daredevil.
Yeah, and my husband was really into that show, but I never got into it myself. So he's like, "Oh, Andy's the Kingpin," but that didn't really mean that much to me.
Well, different look for him as the Kingpin than it was for
him.
Yeah. Yeah, as
completely different.
Yeah. So, yeah, Vince, and also he was Edgar in Men in Black. He's wearing an Edgar suit.
The bug in the Edgar suit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does not look like Thor in that movie either.
He's basically a genius actor, and we give him not enough credit. But he plays Mr. Dawson, who owns the garage, and he's like, "Yeah, there's your car. I got it all fixed up for you. Give me $50." They hand over the money. He counts it on the spot, and he goes, "What's this? There's only 45." Like, that's the biggest deal in the entire world, is that there's only 45. Like, you really tried to flim-flam me with this $45. Not even close. And he's like, you give me that $5 and or else no $5, no car. And so then in this just very warm, generous mode, Sarah, who thinks that this is Thor, grants him her helmet, and he's like, "Oh, it's kind of like that Willy Wonka thing, from the kindness of children." And then he he's like, "That's fine, take the car." And so they drive away.
And he says he's got one of those at home. And I gotta tell you, when I was a kid, I thought it really is Thor. So I was with Sarah. I thought this really is Thor. He's just putting on an act.
Yeah. Is it? We don't know. Maybe there needs to be a sequel to this rather than a remake. There should have been a sequel. And they go back and visit Thor, and he looks horrible.
This is a variant of Thor.
Yeah. So when you go back in, they get in the car and they're driving off, and it could have ended there. It could have. They could have gone, picked up Brenda, headed back, been there in plenty of time. No harm, no foul. Everything's great. But they see Mike's car because he's got that so cool vanity plate. And what's the lesson here, guys? Don't have vanity plates because they can find you too easily. That's what.
That's the lesson.
That's not the lesson? I thought that was the lesson. No. So they see the license plate over here on the side. They're like, oh, I guess he went to that place, that fancy restaurant without you. Well, now she's not going to have any of that. So she gets out with the kids in the middle of the city and walks into the restaurant to confront Mike. At this point, they lose sight of Sarah, and now I hate Sarah.
I'm not even thinking about Sarah at this point. I feel like
go ahead.
I would be in such a rage if my boyfriend in high school did something like this to me. I probably would have done the same thing and been, made a scene, gone in there and been like, how dare you?
Well, so in that, as they go inside, they kind of lose track of Sarah. Sarah goes and steals a dessert from this very fancy restaurant, and then meanders off into the street to go look in the toy window of the window of the toy store. And I've apparently frozen, so you're gonna have to vamp a little bit then.
I'm sorry, I got distracted by you being frozen.
I just was thinking heavily about this whole.
Oh no, are you gone? I can't hear you now. What's going on? Somebody in the chat, give me something to talk about.
Oh no, don't do that. Don't do that, because Patrick will get involved, or Arch Fox will get involved. It's going to be a thing. So
we're going to be asked about Arby's.
Yeah. Leaf, what were you thinking with that? I don't even know. So let's put that on side to the side a second. The whole deal with the fact that Sarah is the worst, and go back to Brenda, because this entire time we're not paying attention to Brenda. Brenda also has the Hemingway High jacket on, different one. And she had her glasses stolen. She went and picked up what she thought was a kitten, but it was a sewer rat. And
you don't feel sorry for Brenda at all? You still think she's the worst?
She is. She's the worst. She's the reason this whole thing happened. You know when you're watching Infinity War and Star-Lord messes everything up?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You see? That feeling? That's how I feel about Brenda the entire time. Penelope Ann Miller, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So she is in the bus station, and she had her glasses stolen, and she gets them back, and she has a homeless man who's trying to kick her out of a phone booth. Phone booth kids look it up, and then she's trying to, just wait it out until her good friend can get there to save her, because Chris is going to be on the way. She's going to be there any minute. But anyway, this is all what's happening there. But Sarah wanders off. And you think she'd know better at this point, because at this point, I think she's been okay up to this point. But she just has to have her moment of being a problem. Wanders off. They get freaked out, but not before they have their confrontation with Mike. Daryl kicks Mike into a table. They all run out. And then now Sarah's gone. They don't know where she is, but they see the building that Brad's parents are at, and they're like, that must be where she's going. I mean, is it, though? Of all the gin joints and all the places, is that where they assume she'd be going? Why wouldn't they assume she would be back at the restaurant?
Because it makes for a much better story if she's going to that building.
Yeah, I mean, it's no Nakatomi Plaza. That's all I'm saying about that one. So they go into they all head toward the building, but the bad guys are also headed to the building because they chase Sarah there. Because again, if Sarah hadn't been on the street, they wouldn't know where to go. They get to the building. She's been eating that dessert, which then gave her chocolate fingerprints. And so now in the elevator, she pushes 2 buttons and they don't know where to go. So one bad guy goes to one, the other bad guy goes to the other. When Chris and the kids show up, they go up and they go to the floor where the parents are. The other bad guy goes up, and basically Sarah goes out the window. And again, at this point, Sarah, really, come on, you're killing me here.
That's the wrong episode. That was last week's Deep in the Plus.
No, not You're Killing Me Smalls, You're Killing Me Sarah. I don't know. It's bad. It's very frustrating. By the way, the girl that Mike cheated on Chris with, is this what hot girls looked like in the 80s?
No. Elizabeth Shue is what hot girls in the 80s looked like.
Okay.
You'd think that they would have picked somebody different. I mean, no disrespect to this actress.
No disrespect person. At all. But, I mean, yeah, she is. But, I mean, of course, I'm with you. Like Chris, she's a great gal. Why would you do that, Mike? You're horrible. You deserved everything that you got.
Because he wanted somebody easy. That's what he said.
Yeah, but this is a family movie. We're not going to talk about that. Because, again, it's been edited for your protection. By the way, before Sarah jumps out the window and she goes into the building, the floor she goes on is unfinished. Again, Nakatomi Plaza. It's the same.
Well, this movie came out first, didn't it?
Well, somebody ripped somebody off. That's all I'm saying.
You think that Die Hard was a ripoff of Adventures in Babysitting?
Could have been. You never know.
Probably was.
Yeah. So they go, like, the kids go to the floor with the parents, and the parents are there, and they're accidentally talking to the bad guy, and no one looks out the window at this. So this entire floor is designed for the view of the city. No one's looking out the window and seeing the kid in the red jacket laying on the window?
Well, it looks like everyone at this party has had many libations, and it's possible that they saw many things outside the window, and they just weren't sure what was real and what was not.
Yeah. Okay. So the bad guy in this decides he's pulling the rope up to get her up, and then she lets go of the rope, and then so he decides to climb down himself. That seems like a mistake.
Yes, but don't you know that bad guys are also always dumb? Come on, Rob.
I mean, I guess, but yeah, I guess it harkens back to like a Home Alone sort of a situation, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But also, this movie came out first. Home Alone, Die Hard, both just stealing ideas from this movie.
Yeah, Will said babysit hard. I'd watch that movie in a heartbeat. Absolutely. So, let's talk really quick about a character we haven't talked about, is Joe. So, Joe Gipp, which I thought they were saying, because I'm a Washington football team fan, and back in the day they had a head coach named Joe Gibbs, and I thought they were saying Joe Gibbs, and I was like, really? But his name is Joe Gipp. Gipp, for some strange reason, a name I've literally never heard before ever, but played very well by a gentleman named Calvin Levels. And so he's a good guy. He's a bad guy, but he's a good guy. He's the guy that was stealing the car, and then he's kind of been entertained by the kids the whole time. He's been helping them along the way. He's got a smart jacket on. This outfit would track today, I think. I think you could wear this, and this would still look cool today. This guy, I think...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got it going on. So he comes in, lets them know that the whole reason that the kids were being chased was because of the magazine, and then the bad guy comes in, and he pops him, and then the kids run away, and they're on their way back. They're trying to beat the parents back. So they try to beat the parents back to the house, and they do the whole thing and clean up, which reminds me of Risky Business.
There you go. Another movie. Well, I don't know. Maybe Risky Business came out first. I don't remember that one, what year that came out. But I think Joe Gibb is probably out of a job after helping the kids out.
Yeah.
But hopefully he finds a better line of work.
Yeah, Brian is in chat. Coach Layton is in chat and is saying like he also in a racing team. Yes, okay, yeah, Joe Gibbs Racing, fantastic. But come on, Super Bowl champs 1983. That's always going to be Joe Gibbs right there. Sorry, just is. Not Joe Gipp though. Joe Gibbs. So they get back and they clean up the house and everything's great. But and she pulled it off, right? She pulled it off, and the parents come home and they're no harm, no foul. Everything is as it should have been. And so on the way out, she runs into our friend Dan from the party. He brought Sarah's skate back, which, by the way, little fun fact, her name is spelled differently on the skate than it is in the credits. Just putting that out there, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's one of them is S-A-R-A, and the other one is S-A-R-H. S-A-R-A-H. Yeah, with the H on the end.
Well, my sister is Sarah with an H, and she will tell you that that's the correct spelling.
I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. There was a funny bit on the way, though, where they passed the parents, and they ducked down, and they all ducked down at the same time. So
unsafe.
Yeah. You know, that's great babysitting. And then they pop back up, and then they drive. And they're like, she's like, how fast do your parents go? He says 45. She goes, we'll go 90. Okay. After all you've been through tonight, this is, I don't know. But they get home, and they clean up everything, and everything's fine. And she and Dan get together, and you just assume they're going to, you know, get together and have babies and live happily ever after, and all things are going to be well with them, and then there'll be a next generation, and that's where your sequel could have come in with someone babysitting her kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we saw in The Boys that she had a baby. We could have mashed it all together.
Yeah, we could have. We also could have mashed it together with this, but you were going to have no part of it.
No, I'm still having no part of that.
I can't. Okay, look. If my favorite movie, they made a new movie of it, I would go, I feel like I had to at least watch it. Like, I at least had to watch the live-action Kim Possible. You know, I mean, it's like...
there was a live-action Kim Possible?
Yeah, with the kid from the Goldbergs. Yeah, there was a live-action Kim Possible. Chrissy Carlson Romano had a cameo in it. Just putting that out there, too.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well... Another favorite movie of mine, Karate Kid, or favorite several movies. Cobra Kai was a way of bringing that back without doing a full remake. I will say that Cobra Kai is much more enjoyable than the remake with Jaden Smith.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Fight me.
No, I'm not gonna fight you on that one. What about the girl Karate Kid?
That was okay, but okay. I mean, she's no Danielson. But I do feel much sorrier for Johnny Lawrence now after seeing it through his eyes. That's probably for a whole different story. It's not even in the plus.
So you're right.
They had an Outside the Bubble show. We should have an Outside the Plus show.
And just talk about something that's not Disney Plus?
Yes.
Why would you do that? There's so much on Disney Plus. By the way,
I know.
Again, I come back to Disney and go, look, you've got all of this IP, you've got all these movies, but there's a ton of extras that are available out there that were part of the DVD. Almost no DVD got released without extras. And yet they don't include the extras on hardly any of these. And I applaud them when they do, but it seems like something they could do that would give them that extra step over like a Netflix or anybody else, because this is their property that they're holding on to.
I guarantee they are waiting until subscriptions dip or they need to make more money, and then they will release the extra content.
They already figured out how to make more money. Watch Park Center. We figured it out. They're taking it from us.
Okay.
So back to this. One last thing that I wanted to drop on you that I found out while I was looking this up is that CBS tried to spin the movie off into a TV show starring Joey Lawrence and Brian Austin Green, and they made a pilot in 1999.
Whoa!
I get it, because Joey Lawrence. Yeah, no.
Whoa!
Yeah. So it's actually online if you ever wanted to watch it. It's 23 minutes long, and it's Yeah, they tried to make a pilot out of it. So apparently they believed in this so much that not only did it come out in 87, and it cost $7 million to make, which is unheard of, seemingly, right? $7 million to make. I mean, with this cast and the stunts, are you kidding me? No, I'm just kidding.
The stunts.
So $7 million to make, $34 million it made at the box office. So I think it did pretty well, but it didn't, blow the roof off the dump. And then in 2 years later, they come up with this pilot, and then almost 30 years later is when they come up with the remake of it. So, and there could have been more, I guess. I don't know, but you wouldn't ever give in and watch the new one.
This movie has legs, I think, because, like I said, I was only a toddler when it came out, but it was still popular in the 90s as a blockbuster rental.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I did, yeah. We'll give a wrap up of this in a second, but for some reason Arlo's in chat saying that we need to go outside the plus and talk about the recording of Come From Away, the musical, which is a great musical and I love the music, but no, we're not gonna do that. There's too much good content to talk about on Disney Plus with their Fox acquisitions, with the Hollywood Pictures, with the Touchstone, Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Lucas, the whole deal. So, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff on here. Next week we'll be talking about Mary Poppins. And the week after that, Patrick will be joining, and we'll be talking about Remember the Titans, because we're nigh on football season here, and so we felt like we needed a football movie. So,
go Bucks!
Yeah, no. So all of that.
Super Bowl champs, come on.
Okay. Anyway, so. So Desi, and first of all, thank you guys so much for watching tonight. We appreciate it. If you haven't already, please give it a thumbs up. It helps people to find us. We really, want other people to be able to find us, and we want to keep talking about all these crazy movies that we dig up, whether they're cult classics or whether they are, the blockbusters. We're going to talk about everything, and someday, Neko, even Ewoks, we're going to talk about that someday. Is there anything else we want to talk about before you give your final thoughts on this movie, Desi? Did we miss anything?
I don't think so. Although I feel so bad for Brad at the end. Come on. He has to watch her go walk into the sunset with another guy after he convinced her to leave. What was it, Mike?
Yeah, Mike. I mean,
Poor Brad.
But the names in this movie, Mike, Brad, Joe, Dan, I mean, they took no risks. I mean, right? I mean,
my kids, I've named single syllable generic boy names because it's just easy to say, easy to spell. You don't ever have to worry about it. As somebody who has a weird name, I appreciate the easy names.
I mean, okay.
When my family would get mugs from SeaWorld or something, it would say my mom's name, my dad's name, my sibling's name, and then I got the mug that said, I'm special.
I love city, I love wife. Yeah.
There's no Desi mugs out there, no Desi magnets. It's very sad.
By the way, have you seen Brad recently?
Oh, okay. Not what I would have pictured.
No, not me.
He didn't age as well as Elizabeth Shue did.
I think Elizabeth Shue also had a little help along the way. I'm just saying. I don't know that for a fact, but I mean, this is not what I was expecting to see when I was like, oh, I wonder what Brad's up to these days. Yeah, not what I was expecting. Anyway, so here we go. We've talked about this movie. You've talked about how you will not watch the new one, how this one kind of was a big deal for you as a child. So, Desi, I need to ask you now. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
Would you recommend this movie?
There are some parts of the movie that are a little cringy watching with a 2021 lens. But overall, I would still say, yes, I recommend this movie. Watch it and realize it was the 80s. It was a different time.
It was a different time. By the way, they're having mug conversations in the chat, just so you know. So yeah, I enjoyed watching this movie again, but it is super cringy, especially the scene in the Blues Club. It is real. I mean, it was hard, physically hard, for me to make it through that scene again. And while I love the snapshot that this is, I in watching both, I would actually probably prefer this one over the new one. Doesn't mean you shouldn't watch the other one, does he? But I would probably say I prefer this one. But you know, it doesn't really have. I mean, it was a touchstone picture. It was a like a timepiece of the 80s. I feel like there's a lot of other movies that follow this same route, like we were talking about Risky Business, where you know the parents are away. There's something that happens. It's all a fight to get back before the parents do. I feel like this happened several times, and for this one, I think is a good family version of that. So if you're looking for something to watch, but the other side of that is I think it would be hard for kids to keep their attention on this. Maybe the Thor thing might draw them in a little bit. I don't know, but I'm not 100% sure that I would recommend this one. I think there are a lot of other things to watch. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. And I used to watch this a lot, but I'm not sure I would recommend it. But you guys let us know in the comments below. Let us know what you think. If you disagree, if you agree, you know, if this movie meant something to you back in the time, and again, we appreciate you watching. Give us a thumbs up if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Join us for more content. And you know, again, we appreciate you being here every Tuesday night. Next Tuesday, we're gonna be doing Mary Poppins, so join us for that one. It's the OG Mary Poppins as well. So if you've got that question on your mind, it's gonna be the original Mary Poppins. My good friend Maleko is coming to us live from the islands to talk about that one, and it's going to be pretty exciting. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Desi, as always, I appreciate all of your insights and your knowledge, and thanks for picking this one. It was fun to go down this road, but again, that blues scene.
Yeah. Well, Will Burton in the chat is telling me I have to watch the 2016. I wasn't going to do it just because Rob said so, but if Will says so, now I feel like I have to.
How dare you? How dare? Well, I mean, Will's a good egg. We're good. Thanks, guys. Have a great night. We'll talk to you next time.